My name is Mydene Cuevas. I was born in the Philippines and came to Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, actually, when I was 8 years old. So having, lived in a different country, learned, grew up with one language, and going to a different country, it was very challenging. I had to learn English, I had to learn the culture, and the time when we came to Canada, there were not a lot of Filipinos. But all of that, I think, definitely contributed to who I am today. So today I'm a corporate commercial business lawyer with a prominent regional firm here in Calgary. I've got two siblings who are both also professionals. One is a physician, and then my younger brother is in optometry with 2 clinics in southern Alberta. When I think about that question, why I do what I do, first I have to identify what it is that I do. And as you said, that I'm a lawyer, but that's just a sliver of who I am. I'm also a mother of 2 young children. I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. I'm a wife, and I think the biggest thing is that I'm also a follower of God, and that is unlike my other identities. That one is sort of, it encompasses everything that I am. And, in terms of why I do what I do, if I think about it, in terms of being a lawyer, I do it because I like the challenges of my job. I love working with businesses, I love working with entrepreneurs and helping them shape and grow their business. I love seeing them expand and, acquire more assets or, divest their assets to sort of redirect or reorganize their businesses. But, all of that, I'm driven by doing work that would, sort of glorify God. And, so I do what I do because, it's sort of my act of worship to Him. So everything that I do, I put my best into, whether it's, drafting a contract, meeting with clients, raising my kids, being a wife, being a good friend. All of that is driven by, I believe that God is, watching, and I want to know that I've done the best that I can for Him. So I think when I think about what a champion is, or what kind of characteristics go into someone being a champion, I think about one of the things that really first sticks in my mind is grit. Determination and perseverance, especially in the face of adversity or suffering. And really when we encounter those situations, we've got 2 options. One is to give up and to walk away, or to face it and rise up against it. And we can easily identify champions when they're going through something difficult like that, and we can see that they're not giving up, and they're continuing to go on. And they might change their strategy, but they're resilient. And also, for me, another definition of champion is compassion. It's somebody who gives back, especially having gone through the things that they have. They can look back and say, I was, down here before, I'm now up here. And, I'm looking back, and there's people who are struggling, and I can give back. And so a champion is, to me, someone who's generous, and who will impart, whether it's their time or their resources to others who are struggling, and help them also make it. And I think that, for Filipinos in this country, we definitely have the ingredients to be champions. And I'm not saying that everyone, is a champion, because sometimes people just say, I don't want to do that, and they go a different route. But we have the ingredients, we have what it takes. So I see generally the Filipino community rise up against the challenges that they encounter, whether it's having to start over again. In the Philippines, for example, my mother was an auditor. She was a manager with a multi-million-dollar company, but when we came to Canada, she was a bookkeeper, and she went back to school at the University of Alberta at nighttime, started doing classes until she got her designation as a CGA. And now she's a financial controller for a large not-for-profit organization. almost on the brink of retirement as well. And my dad was the same thing. He was an engineer in the Philippines, came to Canada and was, nothing. His titles meant nothing here. But rather than say, well, you know what, I guess that's the way it is, and, I'm just gonna have to, deal with it, he rose up and said, no, I can do better, and I want the challenges that he was able to have in his job in the Philippines. So he went back to school and, did the hard work, put in the hard work to be where they are now. And because of them, and because we see their example, my brothers and I are here today, and because of the grit and the determination, but also the compassion and generosity that we see and that we've seen in our parents. Sometimes, often, so many times when I was trying to get into law school, or my brother was trying to get into medicine, it felt like we couldn't make it. It was too hard, it was too difficult. But then my mom would say, remember when we came to Canada, and remember when we had nothing, remember when we lived, in this, ugly place, and we started from nothing. All that we had were hand-me-down things. Remember where we came from, and we rose up against it with hard work, with determination, with diligence, and with a hunger for knowledge. And so because of that, my parents inspired me, and they inspired my brothers to be where we are today. And when I think about the idea of Filipino champion, I think about my parents, and I think that they're not unique in that there's so many Filipino parents who do the same things for their children, and that's what I think embodies what being a champion. Well, it's incredibly important because I think that no man is an island. We need support, we need community, we need each other. It's just part of our basic need is to need relationships. And so it's incredibly important to be plugged into the community because that's how we have support whenever we're going through something difficult. But it's also a way for us to give back and give support to those who are in need. Filipinos come, they have nothing, but they're not alone. And because of that, I see how important it is and how crucial it is to be plugged in and to be connected to the community and to inspire the people, by the things that you do and that you say and, by our actions, but also to give back. The thing that I'd like to impart with the people in our community would be to keep learning, to learn and be curious about everything. I know I encounter a lot of people who want to start businesses, which is great. Learn about that business as much as they can. Attend as many seminars and as many functions as they can to learn about it. Read books on it. Read people who've succeeded in that industry that they want to get into. So never stop learning and always have that passion to be curious about everything. And I think that's what separates people from being mediocre to being great, because they don't just know the very basics, but they know a lot, and they become a wealth of knowledge, and in turn they become a huge resource for the people around them. And when someone wants to know something about a specific area, maybe automotive, they think, oh, I know this person because they know everything about that business, and so they become an easy person, an easy resource, and they'll get to expand their network of people as well. So that's one of the things. The other thing is, of course, to give back, and living in Canada, having this opportunity to work here, to live here, to raise kids here, we have a huge responsibility to the rest of the world and to our home country, the Philippines, to give back. Because while we are, we have, great resources in healthcare and lots of opportunities with education and jobs, people back home are suffering, and it doesn't, take long, to realize that there's so much need there. And so, my parents have always taught me and my siblings to set aside a portion of whatever it is that we make to give back to the people who are in need. And I would encourage people to do that too, because it's just part of our responsibility and something that God has called us to do, and something that we really should take part in. And to be able to do it as a community would be even greater.